ton, but some people have asked me about, you know, I suppose it's human nature. Curious. The tattoos. When did I get them? What do they mean? All that kind of stuff. So maybe we'll do that later. Well, I gotta go out. I've got 2 different accounting things I gotta take care of with different people, and I've gotta stop at Unique's, pick up some screws. Not a very exciting day at all. I have a lot to think about, but just little bits and pieces and some other stuff, but Potlatch is doing fine. Guys are all busy. How long? A couple weeks maybe. So I'm trying to come up with other things, other potential project stuff they can be working on, so that way we can keep things rolling for them. Remember, like last week, one of the guys at work brought me some avocados. I made a delicious guacamole. Not as good as Sid's, but Sid's not here, so it's as good as I'm getting. And so I said to him, "Hey, you got any more of those avocados?" He said, "I'll bring you some in the morning if the tree's got them." I said, "Okay." So there we go. Now I just gotta let them ripen up, and then we'll have, I don't know, there's gonna be a lot of them. That's a lot of guacamole, so we might have to switch that around a bit. Okay, so like I said before, people at various times have asked me about my tattoos. And no, I did not get them when I was much younger. I actually got them only a few years ago. Are there more to come? Yes, but that's another story. Because I just decided I wanted to. Period. End of discussion. I don't care. So I'm going to go through and tell you what each of them is. And the first one is right here. Let's see. See? That's Tempus Fugit. So I don't know if you know what that is or whatever, but it's Latin. And when I was in high school, oddly enough, I took 4 years of Latin. So tempus, time, fugit, fugitive, flees, time, flies, which then goes into, wait, let me switch this, drop this down a little, make it easier. Okay, which then goes into time flies, think, do, experience, more. Okay, so that one's, pretty self-evident, I think. Now, this one over here, let's see if I can get it. Okay, there it is. Prende la strada non viaggiato is actually Italian, and that one is Take the Road Not Traveled. That comes from a Robert Frost poem, and I sort of adapted it and put it into Italian. And I'll put that up next so you can see it, and where it comes from. About, you know, it's just basically what I've done for, I don't know, never done anything in the normal, this is how we do it, that type of thing. So that's what that one is. These three up here are from a African tribe, and I'll put what they are. This one, bizarrely enough, is called a wawa, and the wawa is also the same, comes from a seed. And when our granddaughter was little, she started calling Sid Yaya, but then it got switched to Wawa. So I'll put what those mean and where they come from, so you can see the difference in those three right there. And those will come on in a second. Okay, this one, okay, here we go. This is a Weeble, and I'll put that up, because if you don't remember Weebles, and I'll put the little article too. Weebles wobble butt. Years ago when Sid and I were dating, we used to walk, I lived in a place called Rhode Island, Narragansett, and we used to walk on the rocks and the beach a lot, because the house I rented was pretty close to there. And you know, you'd be going down the beach and the rocks are uneven or whatever, and it was just like, hey, Weebles wobble. And so it's just stuck, and you'll see the rest of it. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. That's where that comes from. So the Weeble is Sid's nickname, so that's what I call her. This one here is a Egyptian symbol for eternity forever. This one here is, this is more me. This is Sanskrit, one of the oldest languages on earth. And what this is know thyself. Important thing for everybody. Know yourself, that kind of thing. This one over here, I've shown you this one before, prescient. And I'll show you the definition. And you know, we've talked about that before, where I have these senses of things that are going to happen or that are possible or that kind of stuff long before they ever happen. Usually like with social media stuff, or if events are going to happen, and it's long term. I don't know if it's a, you know, I don't think it's magical or anything else. It's just that I look at all the different little pieces that are happening all around, and then I come to a conclusion as to what it is. So a lot of things like fingerling potatoes were long before their time. All different things like that that have happened. Some have been more immediate. I mean, where I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't tell. Like one time I was skiing, I was in a terrible mood, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't explain why I was in such a bad mood. And I had called home to my parents' house and found out that that day my father had had a car accident. He was fine, but those kind of bizarre things. So that's what they all are. So for those of you who wanted to know, there you go. For those of you who aren't interested, and yes, there will be more to come. When? I don't know. I'm thinking there's going to be a Cheshire cat in my future who looks very much like some cat who happens to be sitting on her chair over there. Actually, Sid's chair over there, but she thinks it's hers. And then, well, we'll wait and see.